Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with them very good friends of mine, Ramadan and Valentine. Oh no, sorry, listen, I misread that. It's Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane who's with us this morning. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've already had some tweets, Frank.
Wow, straight in.
What?
Well, I have a picture on the Twitter,
Oh yeah.
which is from Richard. He's tweeted a picture of a bookshelf in a Methodist church in Lancashire.
Is it a shelfie?
Well, yes, in a manner of
Okay,
speaking.
okay.
Would you like to know what the 5 books on that shelf are?
A Methodist church in Lancashire. I'd
Yeah.
say the Bible, the Book of Common Prayer. I'm struggling. After
Okay.
Bravo 20.
No, that's your bookshelf.
All right, yeah.
Shall I tell you?
Is it Patent Place by Grace Metalius?
No.
Okay.
It's Aled, the autobiography.
Okay.
It's Tutu, Voice of the Voiceless.
Okay.
It's Alec Guinness, My Name Escapes Me.
Oh, good.
Pamela Stevenson, Brave Mouth. And finally, Frank Skinner by Frank Skinner.
Wow.
Wow.
There you
Up
go.
there.
Great company.
Yeah.
Well, not Pamela Anderson, obviously.
Pamela Stevenson.
I think I'd strangle her in the first
Pamela
week.
Anderson's a
If that
different
was a
person.
lift, if that was a lift we're in, I'd strangle her in the first week.
Can we
With
re-establish
Alec
it's
Guinness
not...
saying, don't, Frank, for God's... I know, but don't kill... Don't... Oh, you've killed her. You've killed her.
Frank, it's definitely not Brave Mouth by Pamela Anderson.
Isn't it?
No, it's Pamela Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Oh, Pamela Stevenson.
That's a different kind of book altogether.
Yeah. Doesn't really change the anecdote.
No. Nor
So-
should it derail you unveiling your Alec Guinness impersonation.
No,
either,
exactly.
I don't
I
think.
mean, for goodness sake.
No.
Oh, well, all I can say is it's a big weekend. I Clue. Eh?
Yeah.
Two different tabloids, The Sun and The Mirror, today have used the headline I Clue because George Clooney is getting married.
Oh, I see.
Can you believe that 2 people have come up with I Clue?
Yeah.
Well, I'm shocked.
I do. I do believe that.
Do you?
I do. That's what the pun's on, isn't it?
Oh, I see.
His hair's looking good, isn't
I
it,
Clue.
Clooney?
Bit grey, I thought. in
Quite
the
thick,
pictures.
isn't it?
Yeah.
What you saying?
I'm just saying it's thicker than I remembered
Does sound
it.
like she's saying something.
I think it's always been thick, hasn't it? That's one of the things I was respected about.
Yeah, gorgeous
Okay,
George.
I'll show you some photos later.
I hope he says I Clue today.
If
What if he
he's,
says I Clue?
if he's read the papers
Vicar
and
says,
accidentally...
hold on a minute, what did you say? I said, I do. No, you didn't. What did you say? Well, I said I Clue, but I was just a kid. Well, can you not mess about? I know you're sort of that slightly funny Hollywood one, but, you know, this is quite a serious ceremony. Sorry.
I've just got
Coffee. Or a free coffee machine. No.
I like the idea of the vicar saying this is quite a sort of serious ceremony.
Yeah, well, I mean, he won't be a proper vicar, let's face it. He'll be some showbiz person.
I've just written down Alec Guinness, George Clooney. I thought I'd keep a tally of who you impersonate during the show.
Oh, by the way, hair in the mouth update. For
Oh,
those
yeah.
of you who worry about it. I had another one this morning.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
That's 2 hairs in my mouth in a week.
Oh, no.
Annoying. I got this one a treat. Now I could see it in the mirror.
Chewing gum? Oh, you just saw it?
I didn't need it. I could see it. I just pulled it out. I'll tell you what, it's great. It's great when it comes out, the actual feeling of a hair
Why do you
leaving the
always
mouth.
get this? I've never had this.
Really?
I think it's when I sort of do my hair in the morning. I don't comb.
you?
I don't comb. I tousle,
Okay.
and I think the tousling process brings down quite a bit of let's call them windfall fruit.
Okay.
And some of them, as I'm singing and stuff, I suppose some of them are drawn in by my in-breaths. That's what I
Very
imagine the
expletive.
process is. Well, I mean, I'm guessing. But it's great. I remember pulling one out of a Staffordshire Bull Terrier once, and he looked around at me in... maybe I meant to tell this anecdote after I'd pressed the music thing.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've had a traumatic week, I have to tell you.
Oh, dear.
Oh,
I
no.
was someone broke into my life and occupied it.
Oh.
Was this an episode of Doctor Who or something?
Yes, what happened was I discovered, through no fault of my own, that U2's new album, Songs of Innocence, had appeared on my iPhone,
Don't get me started.
on my iTunes Music. Now, I don't know, I don't love U2, but I know many people do, and I respect their opinions. We're all different.
We're all God's children.
But, if I was to send one of those people, let's say the Jake Thackeray box set,
Yeah.
or, a selection of Formby.
Or in my case, Wakefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They wouldn't be happy about it. And I'm not by any means a technophobe, but I knew there was a thing you could click to get rid of this. It just appears. It's there on my iTunes. We've all got it.
Have you got it, Al?
I don't know.
You must have it. It's
Oh,
there.
I've got it.
Look for
I
it.
don't have to have it.
I've got it.
Tell me what I've
You
got.
have
You've
got
got
it.
it. Tell
I
me
haven't
you've
got
got
it.
it. You've got it.
You
I've
have
got it. Hang on, if we're talking about me having it, then I've got it. But if we're still talking about this U2 album,
You've
I haven't
got
got
it.
it.
You've got it.
We've
I
all
know
got
I've got
it.
it, but
You've got
I haven't got the U2 album.
It's the musical Ebola.
I've got something,
It is.
but I haven't got the
Everybody's
U2
got
album.
And it makes a mockery of the shuffle.
Hey, I'm
What
not,
if you've got company and that comes on?
I don't do the updates, so I've probably not got it, actually.
It
I
doesn't
don't
cost
think
anything.
they did the
Actually-
shuffle, did they?
The updates.
This is like a conversation in old people's home.
It is a
I'm
bit.
I'm just warming up for that. I'm looking forward to that. Get the chairs in a circle around the telly.
I can't bear that because then we'll have to watch Corrie.
Why don't their mouths dry out?
Hang.
Anyway, so I couldn't. So suddenly I've got a U2 album on, and as I say, full respect to their fans and their work, but I don't want that in my life.
You don't want
That's
it?
what I'm saying. I don't want it. I just don't want it. Also, Songs of Innocence, if you take that from a William Blake point of view, there's the threat of a sequel as well for the Songs of
no.
Experience.
Oh.
I mean, once you let them in,
Is that going to be iOS
as
10
I
update?
think Nicholas, what's he called? Farage.
Yeah,
Thanks, I
Nigel Farage.
can't remember his first name.
I've got his business card.
Have you?
Yeah, he gave it to me once.
She sure has.
Really? Yeah, fabulous.
Horrible card.
Is it red, white and blue?
No, it's just a cheap font.
Anyway, so I was trying to clear space as it was for a software update this week. I was deleting emails like
Really?
Jimmy Carr's accountant when the doorbell goes. But I couldn't shift it. I honestly couldn't. I went to the place where you're supposed to click the U2 thing to get rid of it, and I clicked it, and it said, no, this won't work now, you have to do it manually.
Oh.
It was
Oh, dear.
I'm calling it a band grenade.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
landed in
Do
my
you think,
life.
Frank, there should be a reciprocal arrangement now? We should be allowed to send songs to them of our choice.
Yeah.
That'd
They've
be
done it
great.
to us.
Yeah. But you know what I did in the end?
What?
I went into a complete panic. The only way I could find to get rid of it was to delete all my music on iTunes. So I wiped the whole lot.
Oh, no. Oh, you look pleased about it. Why are you happy about that?
Well, I like
That's going to be inconvenient, isn't
I
it?
don't know much about technology, but I feel confident you didn't have to do that.
in the end, though, I couldn't.
I think it might have
couldn't-
been somewhat rash.
I kept thinking that's got rid of it, and I'd go back, and there it was, still staring at me with his dull black and white cover. And that's what I did. So I've lost all the music I love in order to do that.
But have you got stuff to listen to? Because last time you were
No,
walking
I've nothing
here,
to listen to now. I'd rather listen to silence.
Last time you were listening to lectures about Catholicism, weren't you?
Yeah, well, what do you think
Shame
that makes
you've
me a
lost
bad
those.
person?
They've all gone.
I know they're not on iTunes.
they're in the
God,
podcast
I
bit.
wouldn't have deleted
Oh, you
that.
do surprise me there's no call for them on iTunes.
No, I'm currently listening to a selection of Wild West short stories, if you really want to know.
Lovely.
Did you want to know?
Yeah, I did.
And, of course, the various Doctor Who podcasts. Oh, that monologue that Trev did this week about the new series, I found actually quite moving.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So
I just said of you two, I can't imagine you two having fans.
Yeah, I don't think
And you
that's
both
true.
laughed.
Well, I
No.
think they've got lots.
Please allow me to elaborate. What I'm saying is I can't imagine anyone getting as passionate as they would do about, say, Kate Bush or something like that. Or indeed the Four.
Well,
They're just there.
Elvis.
Okay. If there's any U2 fans listening, don't text in.
Don't listen.
No, do listen. We play a lot of U2 on here.
Okay.
Can I just say that so far, every time anybody has said you two, I've thought that they were meaning the other two people in the conversation, so it's been very confusing for me.
As in, if I have to stop the car, you two are going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in when you said, I want you two off my phone. I was thinking, what have Emily and I done?
Well, we'll soon find out. I tell you what I haven't done. And it just struck me this week. I was walking down the road and someone, well, I don't know quite what they did. I'd say that they beeped their horn on their car.
I'd say popped.
You say
What do you say?
Popped.
Popped. You see, I worry with this. I also say bibbed.
Bibbed?
Yeah, bibbed. Are you all right with bibbed?
I would have gone with beeped.
I'm
as
alright with
you
anything,
did.
darling.
Pipped their horn, I'd say.
Honked?
I never say honk.
You wouldn't say
I'd
honk.
accept that, but I never say. I say beeped, bibbed, peeped.
Honked is a bit
Picked.
clown car,
this-
but I like it.
Is this going to be this texting? What,
Well, I'd love to know. I mean, have you ever said sounded? And I
Sounded?
sounded my horn.
no, I've never said that.
But people do. That is a technical term. Oh, I'm walking down the road and this fella sounded his horn. But no. But what this person did is he hit the horn and somebody turned around and went, oh, all right, one of those.
All right,
He'd
yeah.
seen a friend in the street.
Nice.
It struck me I've never done that in my life. I mean, I've seen a friend in the street, but I wouldn't.
But you've never
I wouldn't
popped.
bib.
You've never popped.
I wouldn't bib on the strength of it.
No,
No.
absolutely not.
It felt like a real lovely, warm community thing to do, which is
Yeah.
obviously why I've never done it.
And it's also not in the highway code that you just beep willy-nilly at pals. You know, it's meant to be a warning sound
You're
for
not
a
supposed
vehicle.
to beep when you're stationary. I don't think this person was stationary.
All right, well, that's fine.
And is it after 10 o'clock at night in a
in a built-up
built-up area? I love the idea of a built-up area. Yeah, so,
Can I ask, did this character pull over?
no.
Well,
He
this
just-
is what I have a problem
He
with.
slowed a little. He did the hand gesture, and
He slowed?
the other guy, I think, shouted something. Sort of, you know, that sort of people think like, "Whoa, hey, you're a," one of those things that people say when they don't have anything to say.
Okay.
But it looked lovely, and I felt like an
Yeah.
outsider, as I sometimes do. I felt like a.
You want to get in on that? I do it all the time. All
you?
the time. I'm always beeping, but I have got a novelty horn that goes. And
Don't
I
you
just
mean
think if you've got it, you've got to flaunt it.
bib. Do you beat people in the street?
Well, yeah, I've got a novelty horn. No, I
Have you
don't.
really?
I haven't
You
really.
got a novelty
I think I've
horn. I can
once
see
done
it
it.
from here.
I think I've once done it as if I was driving away from my mum's, and like if my brothers were still in there, I might go beep beep beep, just thinking this isn't really me.
Do you ever do that? That one.
No, because it's not 1974.
Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot. I really thought it was 19.
Tooted. People have started suggesting.
Oh, yeah, tooted.
Tooted, yeah, but it's good, but it's not right. It's good. I wouldn't say tooted. I would accept tooted.
If I see
That seems to be
someone,
your new catchphrase. I wouldn't say it, but I'll accept it.
Exactly.
if I see someone I know on the street, though, if they're in the car, for example,
If they're
and
in the
I'm,
car.
yeah, and I'm walking down the street, please don't toot me, ever.
Really?
I don't like that element of social surprise. I like to pre-plan my encounters. I mean, I love you both dearly, but if I saw either of you on the street and I wasn't anticipating it, I would cut you dead.
Oh, seems a
Really?
bit harsh.
I don't like it. And then the person pulls over and you feel you have to chat. It's horrible.
Yeah, I don't like that bit.
They're not supposed to pull over. They're supposed to just wave and move on.
Yeah.
That's curb crawling you're talking about. Got completely mixed up.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Can I just say that during that last song, I checked my iPhone and I do not have U2's album. You said you will. You said you will. They were your words. You will have it.
It's on there somewhere.
It's not on
Why
there.
is it always me?
All right, Mario. I think it's because you've pressed an update button or you've got a more modern phone. It's you're being penalised as an early adopter, And
Okay.
I have not done these updates.
Well, in that case, I'm being penalised as well.
Have you got it too?
I haven't
There you
got.
go.
I haven't got the new.
Well, the
one.
new one is the one that bends when you put it in your bum pocket and sit on
Yeah, I
it for a
haven't
day or
got
two,
that.
isn't it?
I haven't got
The
that.
iPhone 6.
Is that
I
what it's
quite
called?
fancy that. I like the idea of a phone that hugs my jawline.
Yeah. Yeah, why
Well-
don't they just make it a feature? Like, you remember this is going back some, when people used to hold a phone against their shoulder, whoops,
Yes.
with their ear. Isn't that...
I think people still do that, don't they? With a landline. Do you remember
got hands-free-
landlines?
Oh, landlines. Those were the
I think we've
days,
got
weren't
one somewhere. I hear ringing. Do you get that with the
And you know,
landline?
you
I hear
should
ringing.
pick it
And I
up.
think that'll be the PPI man, frantic, frantic that I still haven't called back.
they? Yeah. Yeah, that's what the landline's for now, isn't it? It's for
It's like
ignoring.
no one. I don't give anyone my landline number. The people who have it, I can't imagine where they've got it from. I don't know it. I've no idea what it is.
And you have to check it if you were to give it to someone.
I get to the point now. Is this, the thing about not being able to find your mobile. You know, walking around that long walk around the house. Where's my phone? Can you call it? Can you call my phone? That one. I can't find my landline. This is an age thing, isn't it?
Someone asked me for a cheque this week.
You
Oh,
are
my goodness.
having a laugh.
No.
Was it for their tax disc? That'll be obsolete soon. They're
It was
going.
extraordinary.
Where are you going?
They're going. Tax discs. It's all going. It's all going.
This is starting to sound like Pastimes FM.
I like it.
Gloria
So this,
Honeyford presents.
This bendy phone,
Yeah.
I saw some characters queuing for it.
Oh, goodness.
They were standing. I was going to buy a new computer. These characters were all standing behind a rope, which I thought was rather tragic.
No, I can understand the lure of new technology.
Oh, you see, I don't.
No,
I like
me
to
neither.
hold off a bit.
Yeah. Let them get it fixed first.
I'm not an early adopter, I'm afraid.
Okay.
They can fix it. By the time I get one of these bendy phones, it'll be like a design feature and you'll be able to move it around like blue tack and you can have it sort of going from your shoulder to your ear solid and then you can bend it around your neck if you want to go jogging. It'll be amazing by the time I get an iPhone 6.
Okay.
Because I'm a late adopter, they can improve it.
This is what I've done with parenthood.
Yeah.
Is it?
I've let other people make the mistakes, and I've learned from it. You know, Marvin Gaye's dad. All that kind of...
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I just saw, we were just on the telly then. We just saw the ghost in the... You know, there's a ghost footage.
There's a police station ghost.
Yeah, police station ghost. It looked like one of those old cricket umpires with a big white mackle just going across, just moving from a square leg to behind the
I
stump.
like that they're doing analysis of the ghost on Sky News currently.
It's kind of, it has given me a slight shiver though.
It's just cold in here.
I'm not
That's
very
aircon.
keen. I'm not very keen on the whole ghost phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Yeah. Don't
You know,
do
we
it.
were talking about early
Did it.
adopters and that phone business, the bendy
phone
phone.
business, yeah.
I remember the best example that I've ever seen of someone who refused to be an early adopter, which was when we stayed at a house in Edinburgh during the festival when I was younger. And instead of a tumble dryer, they had a mangle.
Nice.
Yes, outdoors. And, you know, we used that mangle and we liked it.
My mum had a mangle for years.
Did she?
Sounds
I
good.
think it was a feeling that it kept you fitter.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if that's why she had it, but
I'd
yeah.
like a mangle. I'm going to make a note of that. Get a mangle.
The toothbrush I adopted quite late. I was about 14, I'd say, first time I used. That's serious.
That's not serious.
It is serious.
God.
Why didn't you do it any earlier?
It wasn't really it wasn't a theme in our house. Well, my mum and dad both had false teeth. In those days, people couldn't wait to have false teeth. It
Yeah.
was like something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone over 40 that didn't have false teeth.
Mm-hmm.
My sister-in-law had all those out when she was 26. They
Wow.
were perfectly healthy teeth. Just got fed up of the
Yeah.
whole. You know, I mean, they're a bit of a palaver
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah, it's like me wishing for baldness. I'd be happy with it. But
Really?
yeah.
Don't
Delighted.
be careful what you wish for.
Honestly.
I
Don't wish
said,
for that.
be careful what you wish for.
All right.
I clue. Yeah, I don't. I will tell you. Now I was going to tell you something that happened to me this week where I couldn't remember something for ages.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have this fanatical thing that you can't Google something that you can't remember. You can only Google what you don't know.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you can't, you have to make your brain remember. Well, I did that this week for about 2 hours. and I did it.
Good.
I've got to be completely straight with you. I can't remember now what I couldn't remember. That's absolutely true. Which has slightly spoilt the whole thing.
Well, we can imagine your joy, because we saw you remember the word stylus.
So tragically pathetic. Broken, like a broken mouth. I have a couple... Do you have things that you can never remember? I have things that are recurring things I can't remember. Like, I can never... I've worked out a method for doing these now, but the two that I could never remember was... I could never remember Russell Crowe's name.
Right.
And I could never remember the film, the title of the film, Fatal Attraction.
Oh, really?
And I've only can remember that I had to come up with a method, and I thought FA for Fatal Attraction and RC for...
Did you call...
Hold on, I have actually forgotten what his name. Russell Crowe.
It's Russell Grant.
Russell Crowe. So I basically picked the initials of two of my favourite organisations.
The Football Association and Roman Catholic.
Yeah, and that's got me through it. But I'm interested... not being able to remember them ever. I wonder if any of our readers have got things that they can never remember. This would be a challenge in texting, if you think about it.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a few texts about people not being able to remember things.
Even while we were listening to music, then our producer Daisy said that Christian Bale was one of her...
she couldn't
it's
remember
like a blind spot. It's like a memory blind spot.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. MBS. Memory blind spot.
Good.
Ray in Bexley has texted, guys, I can never remember my own mobile phone number.
No one knows that, do they?
Well, I can see his on this
anyone's
screen here. I
mobile
could read
number.
it to him if it...
No, better not read it.
I shouldn't, should I? No, but I could help him out there. It makes me feel like I'm...
Just a clue, it ends in 869, Ray.
And someone sent us a little joke, which I like. I mean, the rest of them have been patient. It's been nearly an hour. Dear Steve, Pete and Alice, my memory's great. I never forget anyone's names of people on the radio. Very good. Very good.
I have...
That's Dave from Harold Hill.
Josh Groban.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know
You've
him?
appeared on a chat show with, may I add?
Yes.
He's worked with them all, though, hasn't he? So it's hard to remember all of them.
This is true.
I always have a tendency to call him, the first time he's mentioned, Rogan Josh.
Oh, yeah.
But people think, ha, that's him, messing about. But that's where my brain goes first. Oh, that's that Rogan Josh bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's difficult.
Please don't ever say that to him.
And now and then, and I also get him mixed up with the guy who played Green Hornet. What's he called?
Oh, James Franco?
No. No, it sounds...
George.
Josh. Is there a Josh or a...
I don't know, but this isn't the best radio we've ever done.
No.
Hi, Frank.
What is the best radio we've ever done? I can't remember that either.
Probably on a clip somewhere. Hi, Frank. I can never remember Elvis Costello's name. I always want to call him Oliver Cromwell from Sue.
You see, that's come from... He had a song called Oliver's Army.
Yes.
That's what's happened
There's method
there,
in
so.
a madness.
Yeah.
I think it's all right to call him Oliver Cromwell.
Call him what
I
you want,
think
as
he'd be
long as you
delighted.
call him.
That's it. I heard Ian Paisley, when he was still alive, they asked him what his favourite film was, and he said, I've only ever been to the cinema once in my life. And they said, what did you see? He said, Cromwell! That was it. That's the end of that conversation.
Hang on. Ian Paisley.
Do you want to hear my Frank Bruno?
Put it on the list.
Frank Bruno's my work in progress. Do you know what I mean, Harry?
What? That's terrible.
I always start with the words. Start with the words.
Oh, really?
To the voice.
That was your own voice. You are aware of that.
Yeah, well, I say I'm beginning. Do you know what I mean, Harry? I'll keep you updated on that one.
Oh, we've got quite a long way to go.
I'm going to put it on the list. I'm going to put it on the list.
Get the words first. It's like, it's like doing Shakespeare. You get the words first, and then you colour in the...
Frank, can I tell you
Put
something
it on the list,
awful?
but more for effort.
Pam Netherton has tweeted us to say, this morning, I'm afraid my husband couldn't remember your name. So, there you go.
Well, it's only a matter of time, Pam, before me and him are in the same boat. And I can't remember my name either, let's face it. Eh? But who's the Green Hornet bloke? Grosh? Josh? Nosh?
Not Nosh.
Posh boys?
Nosh.
No. Nosh? Nosh pal? No, it's not him.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner. on Absolute Radio with Alan Cochrane and Emily Dean. You can text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter, @Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
Talking about memory this morning on Absolute Radio.
Yeah, and you nearly forgot what station it was there.
I'm worried now. Maybe this is the beginning.
Well, maybe we can answer a few of your questions. Green Hornet was Seth Rogen, says Tom from London.
Yes.
This
well
sounds
done.
like the end bit when on Mastermind.
Oh yes.
And they're telling them what the answers. You passed on 3.
Yes.
And it was Seth Rogen.
And I was supposed to go, Of course it was. But what I liked is that Daisy, with great confidence, said it was Josh Rogan who played the Green Hornet.
And we said no,
after
it wasn't.
I'd said the Rogan-Josh thing.
She got quite, I'm going to call it angry.
Yeah.
Angry.
Seth Rogen, I must say I love Seth Rogen.
All right.
And but I don't really like films. But I love that film.
Do you like him more than Jesse Eisenberg? Who's your other one?
I like Jesse Eisenberg in a different way.
What do you mean?
I don't think we should pry.
He's my gay crush, Jesse Eisenberg. But,
Is he?
Oh yeah, big time.
Is that right?
Who's yours, Al?
Hang on.
So many to choose from.
Exactly.
All
Go
men.
on. I've got a new one.
Yeah, they are all men.
You got a new gay crush? Who is it?
Alma Aladdin, or whatever her name is.
Oh,
Who's
yeah.
marrying George Clooney.
Yeah, George Clooney's one of mine.
Oh no, I don't like. She's got hot hair. That's what Kath always says. Oh no, I bet that's hot having that hair.
No, she
not-
ticks a lot of boxes.
I'm not
let's
so
be
crazy
honest.
about the Latino. They always like, Penelope Cruz and all that. Doesn't work for me.
Gosling.
No, you're more of a Zola
I like
Budd type.
Gosling, but not with Latino women
No.
particularly. I like Gosling generally.
On the subject of memory, someone, but somewhat seriously answering, 137 has texted, good morning team, Scrabble is a very good game to keep the brain active. This will help with remembering things.
Okay.
Somewhat missing the point.
What you're not allowing for is I don't have any friends. Is there a computer Scrabble where you can play a machine?
I believe
Maybe
there is,
that's
yeah.
the way forward
I'm not even
for
going to
me.
read this email out, but I'll just say the subject line is forgot wife's name. Can I just say that sounds very much like one of our listeners?
Yeah.
I really want to know what's in it now. Is it 2?
Let me read it first.
Okay.
While we discuss other matters.
Okay. Can you read and discuss at the same time? It's right what they say about you girls and the multitasking.
It is.
Can I say, by the way, if there's any Latino women listening, I don't mean that I don't like Latino women. I mean that if I had to do a league table of the types of women, I would go
I
for.
feel tense
If you
now.
had to do a league table of the types of women, Frank, like, I'd say the lead singer of Roxette was at the top,
The
let's
lead
be
singer of
honest.
Roxette,
I'd say if
Annie
you-
Lennox in 1984. Basically women who look like
Yeah.
men.
I'd say if you've got...
Oh, women who look like men, that's what I go for. Women who look like men.
Although you have ended
Should I
up with
be writing
someone who
down-
looks very much like a woman.
Should I
Yes.
be writing down
Thanks.
Bing Crosby
Thank
now?
the Lord.
You can't. I mean, it's one has a checklist for conversation, but in the real world,
Can't help who you fall in love with.
the heart dictates.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's what I said to Vince Cable.
You're listening to
Yeah.
Absolute Romance here.
Absolute Romance would be not a bad channel to work on.
Just
I would
love
say.
songs.
Just play love songs, which is basically more or less every song except the 4.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I was wondering if we should perhaps discuss music. And,
To
and
live
boy
without my
band.
music would be impossible to do.
Boy band news. Jason
Yes.
Orange, he's done one. He's gone. He's out of it.
Whoa,
Is he
whoa,
ever-
whoa, 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 there could be people who don't know about this and you just come straight out with it.
Not in
When
this
they
internet
split
age.
up, wasn't there
Okay.
a helpline and stuff when they first split
Yeah, but in
up?
fairness, they were 24 then.
Yeah.
Not 50 wasn't knocking and she's getting louder,
Yeah, times are a-changing.
Jace. And
Yeah, he's gone.
is he in relation to William
50's
Off?
knocking on my door and getting loud. I'm going to have to let her out.
Is he in relation to William of Orange? Is
Yeah,
that
I just wondered he might be if he goes back far enough, Frank.
I hope not.
Oh.
I think his family were Mormons, weren't they, the Oranges?
Oh.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's what it said in the paper this week.
Oh.
You seem shocked.
I
So
didn't know
William
that. Waiting for
Orange was... Well, anyway, let's not get into theology at this
I was
stage.
a bit confused by this initially.
I've been confused since 85, 86.
Well, I didn't really know they were still going. I thought Gary Barlow was just a sort of law unto himself. He's a lord
Well,
or
he's
something, isn't
certainly a
he?
law unto himself.
He
Yeah.
certainly is. Well, I don't know. I mean, not only have they been going now, but they say, what I like about this is the announcement that he was leaving was coupled with the announcement that they're going to continue as a trio.
Yeah,
It's like trying to kill Rasputin. It is. It's like a snake. You just keep cutting them up and they keep on living.
Yeah.
What about when they thanked him for his energy and belief? Oh, that's
Did
insulting,
they thank
isn't
him
it?
for that?
Yeah.
Well, he's a singer. If someone thanked me for my energy and belief, I'd end my life.
What they should really have said is, in the background he did some good locking and popping, because he's alright at dancing. He was a breakdancing guy. He can do a bit of that. Yeah.
He didn't...
To be fair, they could have swapped him with Peter Crouch and half of the people wouldn't have noticed, would they?
One thing I read that I didn't know, I always thought when Peter Crouch, they said he was one of the dirtiest players in the World Cup. He fouled a lot. I always thought that if you were in a corner and Peter Crouch went up with you, he's all elbows and stuff, it'd be like somebody throwing a bike at you. The idea of someone throwing a bike, you wouldn't know what to hold on to because everything's spiky and sharp and a bit oily and stuff. That's what I imagine that would be like. Anyway, that's a different debate altogether.
So, the little one, he's still in it, isn't he?
Mark Owen.
Well, he's not going anywhere.
No.
He knows which side his bread's buttered, that little one.
I didn't know that Jason Orange didn't get a lead vocal for the first 17 years of the band or something.
Shut up.
He was mainly a breakdancing background guy then. But
Yeah.
now he's had a vocal, and they said that
They could have found out that he'd left in the 90s.
He said he wanted to avoid the spotlight, and then on the day he made the announcement, he was pictured out wearing a bowler hat, which I thought was an interesting outfit choice.
and a beard to distract fans, apparently, even though he's been photographed in a beard many times over that 20-year period.
Orange has gone Chaplin.
It's, I don't know. I mean, I think didn't I upset you once, Daisy, that Daisy was
Very probably.
Daisy was going to see Take That to the O2.
No, it was Emma. Oh, that's Orcs.
Oh, was it
know
Emma?
you. No,
Was
it's
it?
Daisy.
Oh, that's
Sorry.
all.
It was Daisy. Yeah, you got it wrong. I got it right. Okay. And I said I wouldn't go and see Take That if they were playing in my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she took it quite badly, if I remember rightly. But I don't... it's great, we all like different things, as I was saying about you too. I mean, one thing about Take That, they've never broken into my iPhone.
True.
Yeah, but I've told you that little one's not going anywhere.
I like... you've told me that for years.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've seen Jason Orange on a train once, by the way. Just
Have
out of
you?
interest. He smiled at my wife. He's gorgeous.
Was it a Wednesday?
I think it was a Saturday.
Okay. Just a
Very-
guess.
Very good looking, man.
Is he?
Very good looking.
I've got to be completely honest.
Was he wearing a bowler hat?
No, he had no bowler hat.
Oh, good.
With a stubble and a twinkle in
he
his
was...
eye.
I realised when I saw pictures of him that I thought he was Mark Owen.
Oh, did you?
That's
Yeah.
the little one,
No,
I've
that's
told
the
you.
little one.
Yeah, I
But
got
Emily's-
them all mixed up.
No, Jason Orange is actually a thinker. That's what it says in the paper, in the article.
What does
There's
that
a
say
quote.
in the Sun?
It said, Jason hated being in the band the first time. He genuinely likes going off travelling around the world with a backpack, being anonymous, and fancies himself as a thinker.
Oh, he sounds quite nice.
Great, isn't it? I thought he was so good looking that he was incapable of complex thought, but actually,
I see.
he's a deep thinker. I fancy him even more now.
I've never really forgiven the British public for Take That.
Why?
Well, I think one can make a mistake once, but to make it twice seems to me to be unforgivable. They had
What's
their
your-
moment.
what's your
and
beef
they've
with
gone.
them?
Now, aren't they?
I just think they represent sort of anti-music, if you know what I mean.
And uncle music.
I don't think they like... Yeah, very, very uncle music. I don't feel that they like music. Aren't they a band that hates music?
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I thought you'd spent a night with Robbie Williams where he knew lots about music.
But Robbie Williams got out fast, didn't he?
Well,
Wow.
He used that as a springboard.
He also got out when people cared. That's what you've got to do.
I think he definitely, he was singing like old soul classics and stuff.
Yeah.
So he, I imagine if you said to Gary Barlow, sing us a song, he'd have to do a Take That.
yeah.
I don't imagine he doesn't know any songs by anyone else.
No,
I'm guessing.
probably right.
Could be wrong. He might be,
But the 3 that are left in Take That are the 3 that were accused in the papers of tax avoidance.
Do you think he walked on moral grounds?
I think
I'd love
Gary
him if he
Barlow is
did.
like some kind of Lance Armstrong figure. If you don't join, then you're out. He forces you out.
Maybe that's right. I mean, they've lost Jason Orange and Robbie Williams. It's the first time that Gary Barlow's lost 40% of anything.
That'll be in the Telegraph Top 100 Jokes next week.
Can I, credited to Milton Berle.
Oscar Wilde, yeah.
I gotta say, if there's any Take That fans listen, it's fine. I think that it's good that we all like different things. And I know this is very unfashionable.
Well, exactly. You certainly like different things.
I really, really still like salt.
Oh, yeah.
It's got, I mean, you're not supposed to like it anymore. People don't put it on their meals.
Hey, here's a little tip, Frank. If you like salt, have you tried butter? Ah, lovely.
That's why food
not
tastes so
fashionable
nice in
anymore.
restaurants.
Yeah.
Because of the butter.
I will
Yeah.
still put my finger in
Wonderful.
salt and just have salt off my finger.
You won't.
I will, yeah.
Do you know that's a little trick? Because your dad used to keep the salt in the pocket, didn't he? If an attacker came up
He
to
did.
him.
He did, yeah. And he always just say, do it as a gesture. Say, well, okay, I'll just get me money out. Whoa! And then it's in their eyes. He says, make sure they've got their eyes open. Yeah. Come on, if there's anyone listening, I'm not recommending this
No.
as a thing to do. It was an
And also-
emergency measure.
I think it's a great idea, though.
If you were in Harlesden or something, it might not work.
Why?
Well, just because the salt doesn't tend to be a very good weapon.
Well, you say that. Have you ever had salt thrown in your eyes?
I have, actually.
Oh, okay. Oh, weird. Okay.
Weirdo.
Okay. Let's try it during this break.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute
Something
Radio.
we haven't discussed this morning, and we have had a couple of tweets about him.
Idi Amin.
No, close. Kim Jong-un.
Oh, Kim Jong. Yeah. Oh, he's ill,
Borderline
is he?
friend of the show.
Is he ill?
Well, he was missing. Presumed gout-ridden.
Oh. Very
And-
painful, I've been told.
Gout.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's turned out now, it's emerging that it's a cheese addiction. Genuinely.
Do you mean like disco music or
No.
Gorgonzola and Stilton?
He loves cheese.
Wow.
He just can't quit it.
Does it say anything about what specific cheeses he enjoys? Is there anything about...
Dairy Lee. Likes those. He'll eat a box
I don't think you could get gout from Dairy Lee. I'll bet you couldn't.
if you ate enough of it, you could get gout from anything.
Is that right? Is that
No,
what
I
you
don't
reckon?
know. Don't quote me on that.
I really thought that was a medical
I
fact.
don't want to
then.
read that in the quotes of the week column in the Lancet.
It says, I mean, this is in the Daily Star, he's suffering
Oh.
with a condition that has that, in quotation marks,
Yeah.
as a result of his cheese binge. He went on a mad cheese binge.
I must say, if I was a dictator, I would be. There would be. Do you ever have that?
Emmental, Frank.
Do you ever have that thought, though, when you think, what would happen if I just ate absolutely anything I wanted to eat and had no restraints whatsoever?
Yeah.
How long before
Before you got unwell. And he's
one
living
unwell and
proof of
obese?
it.
But if no one's going to tell Kim Jong-un. Maybe you've had enough kafili for one night, Kim Jong-un.
I would.
You can't, you know what I mean? That's that.
In fact, if I was in a relationship with Kim Jong-un,
We all are.
I would tell him. And I
Would
think
you?
he'd respect me
Because
for
you
it.
care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might set fire to me and throw me out the window, or he might respect me.
Was it genuinely Emmental that he's into?
It was Emmental, yeah. I can exclusively reveal.
Okay.
That's a holy cheese, isn't it? I don't mean ecclesiastically, I mean it's got holes in it.
Oh, that's it. Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah, as has his policies.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Well, apparently North Koreans think it's...
Oh, sorry, I find satire exhausting. I'm
Should we have a lie down?
A little lie down,
to sit out. You guys carry on.
and we'll talk.
Phew.
Save those little ones for Have I Got News For You.
Okay.
North Koreans think being fat is good, apparently.
I'm not saying it's bad.
No.
But I'm building it on cheese is probably a dangerous
Yes.
thing to do, I would have thought. I mean, he must have mice throwing themselves at his bedroom windows in the evenings.
Mm-hmm.
If there's any mice left out there, I imagine they've long been cooked and eaten.
Yeah.
Difficult times for the NK.
We wish him well, though.
Okay.
Our thoughts are with him.
Do we wish him well?
I do.
My thoughts with his family. If there's any of them left. Yeah, his uncle, he fell out with his uncle, do you
He
remember
did,
that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Fed him to the dogs, apparently, didn't he?
Yeah, they had
So they reckon.
Oh, they had a terrible
His
row.
uncle dropped,
Yeah.
he dropped a carton of Bourson,
Yeah, that's right.
and it all went off.
Fisticuffs over the Edam.
Oh, God, it all went off. Fisticuffs over the Edam is one of my favourite Beryl Bainbridge novels.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I need to share some news with you, boys.
Kim
Go on.
Jong-un.
Well, I've gone flat. Now, I know you may be familiar with my obsession with the higher heel.
Oh, are you talking about your shoes?
Yes, I'm talking about my
thank
shoes. Don't
goodness,
worry, everything's
Yeah.
still intact.
Okay.
I'm the sort of Eddie Izzard of North London in many ways on the heels front.
Yeah,
I like
you-
a Cuban. I like at least 2 inches.
I think of you, yes, I think of you in a heel, I must say.
But in a shocking twist of events, I've started to embrace the flat shoe.
Are you talking about, though, I mean, like, to come in here, but not, if you went to a do... in the
Suggesting I
evening-
don't make an effort for
No,
you boys.
but you do make an effort.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you went to, let's say, the FHM Style Awards, would you go...
FHM?
Isn't that what they're called?
No, yeah, it's just
Would you
funny
go...
that you picked a man's magazine for the Style Awards.
Would you go
Which I
in
don't believe
there?
exists anymore.
Okay, well, I have to pluck something
Okay.
from the ether.
What
Yeah.
about the in-style? Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
An
yes.
in-style event.
Would you wear flats then? It's
funny you should say that.
Would you?
Because I
Cup of tea, Grandma?
went to my first function with flat shoes.
No way.
Yes. Daisy gasped. You're right to.
I bet you won the limbo.
Yeah. See, there are upsides
I saw
to
an
these things.
awful lot of nostril hair.
Oh, yes, that's the thing.
And
What,
now I
because
know
you were
how
lower
that-
down, your
Yeah.
vantage point is lower.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
and now I know how that little one feels and take that. But you know, I liked it. I felt slightly, for a number of reasons. I mean, in fairness, I was going to a launch of a book about flat shoes.
Oh, well, it was
No.
a gimmick.
No, it wasn't a good. It's a good title on Brogue.
That's
I think
like
that's
me
quite a good
going to
title.
a Doctor
On
Who
Brogue.
convention as
As a
Dalek.
as
cyborg.
Peter Purvis. It's a completely different theory. Would you go, if I said to you, oh, well, there's a premiere this week, the new Rogan Josh film is out. Would you like to come with me? You wouldn't turn up in flats, would you?
Depends on the height of who I was going with, because this is what I've
If
worked
it was
out.
me, I'm 5'10".
No, I'd be all right with you.
Okay, with the cockerel, you'd need heels.
No, sorry, it's gone
Heels.
Peter Crouch with the cockerel.
Ouch.
Yeah, Peter, ouch.
But what worries me.
That'll be the headline when
Peter
when his marriage breaks up. Peter, ouch. I chew. No, I rue. No, I clue. Sorry. I chew would be if Jimmy Chew gets married.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, in the modern age, it could happen, of course.
Good point.
No,
Yeah.
I think I'm finding with in general with shoes, I just find the heel can be a bit what I call apprentice candidate. Do you
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes.
Yes, I know
A
what
bit
you mean.
déclassé.
May I
The
request
heel is
some
chic.
information?
Even Victoria Beckham's wearing a flat now.
Is she? Really?
Yes, she's gone brogue. And I've also decided I can look a bit Dick Emery in a heel, and I feel my short stature might be a unique selling point.
Yes.
I don't wish to be average. I'm going to flaunt it now.
Yeah, well, it didn't harm Louisa M. Olcott.
Yeah. Who?
Little Women.
Yeah,
Very
thanks very
good.
much.
I liked hearing you work that out.
It was the gap I couldn't live with. I thought it was going to go off air. I thought it was going to fall off air for a second.
I thought you were still speaking. I was just waiting.
What, was my mouth moving? Oh, no, so that happened.
Can I ask, are you wearing the high heels, not
flat
high heels
shoes.
at all, are you wearing the flat shoes with a trouser, or are you going with legs visible? Because I thought the point of the high heel was to make the calf taut and the legs change shape somewhat. Is that not part of the gig?
I don't know where this is going.
Is that not part of the gig?
Is he suggesting I'm going to the I Have Given Up shop now?
No, because if I was to wear high heels
Yeah.
for like a week...
I actually work in the I Have Given Up shop.
Yeah, I
on
like.
Saturdays.
Can you tell me those tracksuit pants you had on last week? I thought you'd got those from there.
Yes, I did get them from there.
Yeah.
So they're on special offer this week.
The I Have Given Up shop specialises in the drawstring as well.
Oh, but the joy of elastication.
Well, there is an element of this with the flat shoe. I'm not going to lie. You know how you've got into your gardening?
Yes.
It is just getting into your later years. I just think, I've made my effort now.
Yeah, but is there any more? I'm going to use the word sexy on,
Yeah.
I have to think of the 70s when I hear the word sexy. It is.
Okay.
I remember my brother once we were watching Crossroads at home.
Yeah.
And he didn't stay in much then. He was out. He was about 17. He was out and about, a bit of a lad.
Is this our Keith or our Terry?
This is our Terry.
Oh, yeah.
And, we were watching Crossroads, and there was a bit of a saucy woman on, and he said, she's a bit of a sex kitten. And the whole house went, oh my God. And it was like, I thought my dad's going to smash the place up. But
Did he have salt in his pocket?
we got around it, but oh dear, it was such a tense moment.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I was talking about, I warned you I was going to use the word sexy. I would say perhaps the sexiest sound in the world is...
Oh, I can't bear it.
Afrikaans.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it. It just, it sounds... it's the very opposite of Afrikaans.
Oh, you like the clip-clop of the heel?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great sound. You know, you're sitting and you hear coming down the pavement.
I find it a bit 1960s Lady of the Night.
Oh, no, that's just... Because they're standing still, you see. But mainly...
For the moment, I'm going flat. It worked for Mickey Rooney. It could work for me.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my other two favourite sounds, if I had to pick my three favourite sounds? A dog...
Well, it depends. Can you run them past me first?
They're not sexy.
Okay.
There's
Sex
a
kitten.
dog before it barks.
Go on.
The pre-bark cough.
Yeah.
You know, dog lying down. You have to imagine dog lying down. Dog hears something. And then he's into full bark. And of course, Bodgerigar at Mirror. There you go. What else?
We'll get a new pop shield for that microphone.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Just this one will dry out.
I've made a mistake that I thought I'd stopped making in life recently. In
Go on.
summer, I bought some Adidas Originals trainers that I thought were great, 9.5, wore them for a day, and they fitted in the shop, but they don't in life. You know that thing where you go, oh God. And then I took them to a cobbler's, tried to get them stretched, and they said, that we can't because it's a rubber sole.
I like that you found a cobbler's medieval fairy story.
I live in the north. The high street is very similar to the 1960s.
Yes,
still.
I like that.
It's great.
Do you think a cobbler would do the hard skin on my feet?
Have you not got that scene to yet?
They should really double up with that, shouldn't they?
I tried sort of massaging it a bit myself, but all I've done is I've moved it to one end.
That must have been a sight for sore eyes.
I'll tell you what it's like now. It's like, you know, when all the innards of a duvet go to one end.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it's like. I hate it when that happens.
Is it properly
It's like
cracked, is
sleeping
it?
under a donkey. Pardon?
Is it properly cracked?
It's not cracked, no. It's just, it's... I could... Now, if you got me a drum now, you know that thing they play with the...
Yes.
I could do that with my toes.
Sorry, I thought that was a Bodgerigar.
No, it's just one of my many. I'm the man of 1,000 sounds.
I just realised I haven't written your most recent impressions on my list. I'm going to have to get scribbling.
What? You've let me down, big style.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Tech text us, why don't you, on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter, @FrankOnTheRadio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. What?
I'd like to quote, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I know it's only a chocolate bar, but it's the principle. It breaks all the trust. It's outrageous. Not my words.
Yes, so Marion Faithfull is our guest this week.
They're the words of someone viewing an estate agent stealing a bar of chocolate whilst showing tenants around a property.
I've seen the video.
If ever there was an appropriate use for the Shaw Taylor word character, it's this character.
Character.
This clown.
When you say clown, he's described as purple-suited estate agent.
He is.
at
I
one
thought it
point
was
in the
Steve
article.
Penk doing some sort of scam at
Purple
first.
tie.
I don't think
purple
they should
suit.
say purple-suited as if he's permanently purple-suited. He might have other outfits. It could have just
You
been
think
that
it's like the
day.
Joker? He's always in
Exactly.
purple.
I think he always is.
They're making him seem like a baddie.
Also, well, I'm already suspicious. We'll get to this in a minute. I don't believe this whole thing.
Really?
Why were there two purple cushions? Why was the...
What, he matches the furniture, this guy?
There was
Why
a
were
purple
there
door.
Right. Do you watch Sherlock?
There was another character.
You'd love it.
There was another character escaping who was in purple.
No.
Yeah. And I was suspicious as to where the CCTV was placed. And who keeps chocolate in a bowl?
It was odd,
point.
I must admit, that the chocolate was right next to the camera.
Yeah, I found that.
I'm sorry.
strange.
I mean, that was, unless it was a trap of some
Maybe
kind.
it was entrapment.
But imagine getting sacked, if it is true, imagine getting sacked because you were stealing chocolate from a rented property in Walthamstow. I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't get lower.
But also, it said that he said the chocolate bar was a birthday present from his wife.
Really?
Now,
My kind of gal.
now that might suggest why he's got a CCTV fitted at home. He might be a little suspicious that maybe her attention on him is waning. Somewhat. It's all a bit chop-berry, the mysterious CCTV camera that you wouldn't expect. But what do you think it's all about?
I think it's either the chocolate bar makers, and no, I won't name them.
Because do they have purple sort of wrapping?
I think those are the other ones.
What, on a Galaxy? No, I don't think so.
Oh, he's in with it.
I
Okay.
don't mind it.
And I also think it could be the removals company. Or not removals, but the letting agency. I think maybe it's some big scam.
But what about this bloke who's been sacked? He hasn't really been sacked. He's gone into the witness protection
This
scheme.
poor purple-suited estate agent that just stole a bar of chocolate.
It's interesting that you think. See, if an estate agent wants a bar of chocolate, doesn't he just go into a... Well, he could go into a sweet shop and say, I'll have a bag of those chocolates over there, get them to measure out the bag, get to the minute they're just about to press the till, and then say, actually, the bag looks a bit creased, I'd like to reduce my offer on those chocolates. And by
Yes.
then they think, oh, well, I've got another thing lined up now, so I'll have to go with it. Wouldn't he just do that?
That's a good point. That's
He
their
said
business
that
model.
character... who was
Changed his story a
George,
few times,
He said,
didn't he?
I just didn't feel right. I needed sugar.
Yeah.
Oh, we all need a bit of sugar now and then, love.
Yeah, I get like that with salt.
So it seems.
Yeah. I once...
Imagine if you were an estate agent, you lost your job just because you helped yourself to some pretzels.
Yeah. Stole
some
8
Alden.
pepperoni. Yeah, he didn't even eat it, did he? Just put it in his pocket. That didn't seem to back
For
up
later.
the
That's true,
desperate.
yeah.
The desperate. I think you're right. I think we've picked a mighty hole in this whole case, and I won't be I won't be happy until these people are brought to justice. I won't have the public misled like that by estate agents of all people.
No, good point.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I tell you what,
Yeah.
shall we go a-wandering? Because I love to go a-wandering. Email. There you go, Emily Dean on lead vocals.
I was doing Big Fish, Little Fish cardboard box to that. It's got a
How
slightly,
big's your fish?
slightly
Did you go
dancey
heavy
vibe.
shopping as well?
Oh yeah,
These are
the
some of
shopping.
our,
Row the boat.
Yeah. Oh, Frank! Oh, I love it you know that. That's Hawaii 5-0. Lovely. Row the boat. Oh, how cute.
I only know any of that because there's a comic called Smiley who used to
yeah.
do it all in his act.
Yeah, who was in the first episode of Doctor Who this series, in fact.
Indeed. He was the uncle of Journey Blue.
It's also in Utopia that I've just watched. Anyway.
Paddy's getting the work. Can we read the emails out now?
He's getting the work.
Rather than his IMDb page.
Fair play to Smiley.
Let's start with the first email. Why not? This is from 783. Dear Frank, Emily, and... strange what he's called here. The cockerel, let's say. I was interested in your distaste for manual pedal bin lids and thought I'd tell you about an alternative.
I should say that I find that the pedal bin a violent thing. It won't open, it won't open, it won't open. Oh, it's open.
Yeah.
Horrible.
I too don't care much for the all too quick action of the bin lid or the marks it leaves on the wall behind it.
Yes.
Well, we hadn't even thought of that.
They aren't made very well, and as a family of 5, you can imagine the abuse the pedal receives.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine Nancy DeLolio's pedal. Oh, that gets abused. So why not invest in an automatic kitchen bin? I did, and I have to say that all the little niggles that are involved in a manual bin have gone. It has a proximity sensor and a timer to close it.
Wow.
It only has a lid 3/4 the size, and so cannot catch the walls. You don't even have to make contact with it.
I'm going to say it again, wow.
But does it come... aren't they a bit...
Well, funny you should say that, because 783 continues. The only downside I've encountered is that the lid sometimes comes down with the ferocity of Arkwright's till. Hope that helps. I listen to your show on podcast because I'm a shift worker, and then...
Oh, come on, don't put yourself down.
No.
Oh, sorry, the shift work. Okay, see.
There you go.
Well, that could come in handy, the snapping lead. I've got a skin tag at the base of my neck I'd quite like to get rid of.
Yeah.
It's either that or a Venus flytrap. I can't make up
I
my
won't
mind.
get that bin, because you know my early adoption can't do that.
No, wait till they find out the problems. Where
Yeah,
it's
I'm still on the
flying
mangle. I can't be getting these electronic bins.
Arkwright's till, they're marvellous.
Yeah.
I watched one of those not long ago on one of the satellite channels.
Oh, did you?
Gold.
In case you don't know, it's open all hours. Ronnie Barker played Arkwright, and his till was a particularly violent closing.
Loud,
I can't bear it.
The one I watched, the woman comes into the shop and says, I'll have a large washing up liquid. And he said, you know what, I'll join you. I really liked it.
I wish I could watch it, but I can't watch things just set in a shop.
No?
I find it depressing.
Really? What about Are You Being Served?
Is it too
Oh no, that's camp and fabulous, and there's other departments. There's just one hardware shop and a man in overalls. I can't bear it.
Yes. Remember the time Nurse Gladys Emanuel was washing the car?
I don't think Emily will, but...
She was leaning right across the windscreen, and he said, it's not often you see accessories like that on a Morris Minor. It was wonderful. I miss it. I've got into Friends just lately, by the way.
Brilliant.
Oh, it's a strange decision this late in the day.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about late adopters.
Yeah,
That's what I've adopted, Friends. And I think
What are you watching now? The Oneiden line?
Well, it's good because when people used to watch Friends, they used to think, oh, God, these beautiful women, and fall in love with them. But, of course, now I've watched them decay. I can watch it in a relaxed way.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We're still in the email corner, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Hi all. I feel I need to add to the debate surrounding Frank's compulsion to avoid being a slave to setting his alarm clock at the conventional o'clock/quarter-past, etc.
Yes, I should explain that I tend to get up at sort of, like this morning it was 6:09 and stuff like that, because I don't see why we should have to be on the hour or 5 past, 10 past, quarter past.
Yeah, and it's very Moorish once you start going at this sort of thing.
Yeah,
I went for 6:21, I think it was today.
Good on you, respect.
Yeah. I also follow this rule of what used to be an obsessional habit of rounding up to the nearest zero when filling up with petrol. Good point. It's the time that people do it. I know, I do. I no longer waste any more precious seconds of my life squeezing a few drops of gas out the pump in my quest to ensure the payment is rounded up to a nice even number. I'm paying with a card, so what difference does it make anyway? If I've stopped filling up and notice that I've inadvertently finished on an even number, I'll pull the trigger to release more petrol and ensure it will result in a chaotic figure. Just to prove to myself that I can.
Excellent work.
Brilliant work, Keith.
You see, I always have to end... The most daring I'll go is a 50.
Really? Oh, no, let loose.
Well, I'm going to start doing
You're
this
wearing
now.
flats. No, it's time to just...
How far will you go? Will you do an 01?
Oh, I'll happily do an 01.
An 04?
Well, look, this is not just me. I bought I paid for a prescription the other day.
Oh, yeah.
$8.05 it
Ah.
cost.
Lovely
Wow.
price.
So even the NHS are joining in.
They're getting into it.
I mean, 8.04, 8.03 would have been better, but it's a
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
Fabulously, I had a temperature of 38.7, so I was joining in as well.
Is that fine?
It wasn't. I felt quite poorly, but I'm fine now. Thank you. Thanks for asking. Oh, you didn't. There was I remember a South American serial killer who killed 100 people, and I thought that he's
Lovely.
very anal. Very
Yeah.
anal.
Tidy mind.
What worries me is if he'd accidentally killed another person, he'd have thought, well, I have to kill another 99.
Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
On the subject of your health, we've had an email about your
Is it my results?
about your.
Yeah,
Hang
they've
on.
decided to try this unconventional method now.
I've told you not to call me at work, darling.
I've now lost the email. I was going to read you an email about your
What? My result? Lost my results? Sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's gone.
There
It's
is
gone.
another person who wants my advice, though.
Oh yeah.
481.
Okay.
Hi, team. Could I ask Miss M's advice? See, I didn't lie. To wit, is it acceptable to compliment a young lady by calling her handsome? Or is it too costume drama? I did just that recently, but I don't think it was entirely appreciated. I felt I was being complimentary as well as accurate at the time, but I did feel a bit like Mr. Darcy as I said it. Kind regards, Nick.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think of this, because I think if you call a lady handsome, it's a bit equine. It feels like
Yeah.
she's a bit horsey.
Yeah, look, if you said that guy's a bit of
Listen.
a pretty boy,
Yes.
it wouldn't be a compliment.
I wouldn't mind being called handsome, although when Nick points out that it was accurate, that worries me. I mean, how feminine looking is she?
Yes.
I think if you're feminine, that's fine. I take them where I can get them.
What, women?
No, compliments.
Okay.
Then,
I was going to say.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's interesting how you'd arrive at handsome for a woman. There must be something that makes you go handsome in the adjective. You know, when you go...
Tilda Swinton, she's handsome.
When one imagines like a glass case with adjectives in, a bit like those things at the seaside with the claw.
yes.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
you can take a cuddly tie out. And if you see a woman and you go for the claw and you go, and then you're picking out handsome, something, it's sort of, don't you mean like nearly attractive?
It's a bit Vita Sackville West, isn't it?
Well, I'm happy with that generally, but in this case, yeah, I'm going to dwell on that somewhat, if I may.
Well, here's some advice that's come in by email. 1/4 cup of blue Listerine, 1/4 cup of vinegar and 1/2 cup of warm water. Soak feet 10 mins and hard skin just wipes away! ! There you go,
Okay.
problem solved.
Brilliant, and in the old days, I would have drank the remainder.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Someone's just pointed out, 709 in fact, that Levi's have been doing it for years.
Do what?
This is in relation to the, the 501.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course, yeah, the 501.
They could have had the 500, they didn't.
And, of course, most of their products probably end in an odd number, don't they? When you buy them, it would be like $79.99 rather than £80, wouldn't it? For example.
Like those two blokes in the Muppet.
Brian Lara, the cricketer,
Oh,
who
yeah.
played for Warwickshire
Yeah.
and the West Indies, I think. He got, I think it was, I can't remember the first score, but he got 3-7 something or whatever, which is the highest ever test score. And he was sponsored by a jeans company, maybe Pepe or something, and they named it after him. So I don't think this is the right figure, but it was something like the 379.
All right.
And then he broke the highest ever record for runs in first class cricket, and he scored 501. Which really spoilt it, because they couldn't use 501. Oh, the best laid plans of mice and men, brachraki krugra bagarook, as I think Robert Burns said.
During his Welsh writing period.
Well, if he couldn't think of a word, Robert Burns, he just made one up. I respect him for that.
Well,
a way of doing
they
it,
make
isn't
no sense, those poems.
When you see a bregged,
They don't.
geeky, walking bagger, margadiki.
You've
I like
probably just sworn at half of the Highlands there.
I apologise if I have.
Not for the first time.
We're all brothers now, of course.
744 has emailed us. Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, I thought you might find this funny.
Well,
Okay,
Okay, I'm waiting.
let's begin. Frank got a mention on the Formula One commentary last weekend.
Brilliant.
Okay, this is the best thing that's ever happened in my life. One commentator said something like, driver A let driver B past, giving him a gentleman's excuse me. Then the other commentator, whilst giggling, said that he didn't think that was the real meaning of gentleman's excuse me, and that Frank Skinner often uses it to mean something else entirely. That's the
Yes.
best news of the morning.
That is
great.
brilliant. I use it to refer to my lower parts, but
Frank,
also
you're on the Formula One commentary,
and that's
official.
brilliant. It's
did
exciting.
you invent it? Is it?
Well, for that purpose,
I think you did in
Is
that
it?
context.
It's actually, it's something I said because I'm on breakfast radio and
Yeah.
I can't say
Yeah.
anything else. He's actually incorrect, though, about the gentleman's excuse me. It's
Okay.
not about letting people pass.
Oh, yeah,
What
what is
he's
it?
referring to is an after you, Claude situation.
Oh, okay.
But a gentleman's excuse me is the dance where
Yeah.
men ask, is it women ask men to dance?
Yes,
Is it-
I believe that's
so
right,
they're not,
yeah.
they're not letting people. So he's using it out of context, but I must find out who the
Well, in
co-commentator
fairness, so are
was.
you, but that's okay.
Yes, but that's brilliant.
Can I congratulate you on making motor racing interesting? That sounds like I might start watching it.
I
if they
imagine
do
that you
I have
would
started.
like that
Oh
kind
God,
of thing.
no! God, no! I'd rather watch cricket, and that's saying something.
I
Frank.
love being that. A mention is better than anything else. If you're mentioned, by the way, it's better than being
Yeah,
written
you've
about.
been an answer on a few quizzes that I've seen, like Pointless and stuff like that.
I saw a
He's on
theatre.
Pointless every week.
Yeah.
I saw a theatre review once, and it started by saying I once spoke to Frank Skinner, and he said he was wary of people who knew a little, the modern phenomenon of people knowing a little bit because they'd read about it on the internet. What he called wiki-lectuals. And he said, I think this play might have been written by a wiki-lectual, and the whole thing was based on, famous?
You were?
I used to be, extremely.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know, we were talking a few weeks ago about snippets of conversation that you overhear on your travels.
Yes.
I think I might have mentioned that I once walked into a restaurant and heard a man regaling people, and like 8 people all really guffawing with laughter, and him saying, yes, and it turned out they were Buddhists, and I never knew what the story was.
That's like a friend of mine who turned on Radio 4 and he just heard the end of a show and it said, and that man was Robert Dougal.
Yeah.
And then it said, and there'll be more anecdotes. And it ended.
Well, it's been happening to me again. There's a whole overhearing bits that I could not repeat on air. I heard 2 students discussing a breakup, and let's
you?
just say that the lady that had been broken up with
Yes.
lay with the flatmate a fortnight later, and I then had to follow them for about 5 minutes to get as much
I
gossip
love this
as
story.
it's not for broadcast, but it was fun. And then the other night I was
followed them.
I followed them for a bit
I would
to
have
listen
followed
in.
them.
Yeah,
I
why
would have
not?
100% followed them out.
I love it.
And my favourite bit of it was, but is he a flatmate or is he a mate? And I think we've got to say that he's not a mate.
It's like Mickey Flanagan's Out, isn't it?
Exactly. And now I was in
Is it Mayhew who wrote down the talk of the common people of London or something? He went around writing
I don't
down
know, why
things
don't you
he'd
ask Dr. Fox? He'll know.
heard. Okay.
That sounds good though. I was doing a gig in a rather posh hotel in Leeds earlier this week. Really quite posh. Guess how much a cup of coffee was in the bar?
How much?
£3.30 for just a normal cup of coffee in Leeds. I mean, not in Soho.
I paid £19.50 for a glass of white wine in the Savoy
Oh.
last week.
Were they doing a 2-for-1 offer?
Wow.
1950 is
Then
a lot.
I only buy to throw it in their faces.
Can I ask what you were doing in the Savoy, point 1? Point 2, why were you buying a glass of wine?
Point
Well,
3,
I was-
you do know this is on the radio, don't you?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case.
No, I was with a friend and we'd been to see Forbidden Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't resent paying her because she's a dear friend of mine. So we had drinks, and I had a cocktail which was
Non-alcoholic.
£12. Non-alcoholic. Cucumber Land, it was called.
Oh.
12 quid for a bit of cucumber.
Which is also a great film, if you've ever seen it. And then
must download that app.
£19.50 for a glass of white wine. But, you know,
Wow.
Yeah, but still...
can't put a price on friendship.
What price happiness?
What about my hotel in Morocco, £17 packet of Tic Tacs?
Wow.
That's the,
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that was good.
Wait, was that the white or the green?
White.
Okay.
The text
God
in
knows.
number is
Original.
81215. If you've ever paid a lot of money for something in a
For
hotel,
Tic Tacs.
please let
What's
us
the
know.
most you've paid for Tic Tacs? Is this week's
I think I win at £17, Hotel in Morocco.
I think you're in with a shout.
Yeah.
Anyway, there was there was one of those couples that you see in hotels sometimes, like quite obviously quite well to do, and obviously just a little bit lonely, engaging the staff in longer conversations
Oh,
than they
yes.
needed
yes.
to. You know, they do that.
Yes.
Yes.
And I've now got a theory about it, because once they were left to their own devices, they began bickering, this kind of well-to-do couple, and I couldn't quite make out who they were bickering about, but at one point the man said, well, she only works 10 till 3 and then she has a 90-minute bath. Are you telling me that that's not relaxing? If it isn't relaxing, why is she doing it?
Yeah.
Good point.
That's a very good
Unless
point.
she's very mucky.
Yeah.
And then they discussed, I think they must have been discussing their children, because I heard her saying something, and he said, I think we've done all right by them. We bought them a house each. So
Well, in fairness, he's right.
I think that's all right, innit? That is good.
I don't
found
know if I
myself
agree
agreeing
with that,
him.
though.
No, you shouldn't. I don't think so.
What about when I interviewed Will Young on my now defunct chat show? And I was as I walked off, I could hear him in the wings talking to his agent, saying, "Well, I thought he was a bit pernickety."
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Can I tell you a quick price, please?
Yes.
2 small beers, sparkling water, and a G&T, £68.
Wow, where was that?
That was the Dorchester before the British Curry Awards.
British Curry Award.
Blimey. I think they'd have cheapened it that night.
Yeah, wouldn't you? I'm just slightly upset that I didn't get offered hosting that. That's an awards do that I could have done, innit? Frank and team, I paid €40 for a gin and tonic in the Hotel de Paris, Monaco. Nearly fell off my stool.
Wow,
That's a lot, innit?
that is a lot.
Anyway, it wasn't just this posh couple in the hotel that's been earwigged this week. David Cameron
Yes.
Oh, that was bad. I
picked
thought.
up by the microphone,
I loved
saying that the Queen was delighted in the. I really didn't like this.
Oh,
when
I
he
didn't.
said
Oh.
she purred, I just.
That's
Oh.
unkind, isn't it?
She
Because
purred down the line.
she's
made me feel
88. I mean, that's what breathing sounds like. That's probably the
Not
pearl,
sure that
pearl
was
necklace rattling on a thorax.
I didn't like it. He said, I told her, I said, it's all right, it's okay. I mean, that's a bit patronising to the Queen.
I don't think
it is. Yeah,
I don't think I've
awful.
heard David Cameron sound any creepier than
Yeah,
these
yeah.
utterances. She purred, and it's all right, it's okay. You may as well have said, "I've got you. You're mine now."
Exactly.
He also said, Al,
Don't worry,
Weirdo.
don't worry, officer. I'll see she gets home all right.
he also said, she purred down the line.
Oh.
Who uses down the line?
I know it's. I have to be fair to him, I remember her saying, "Come on," and punching the air when I phoned her up and told her that Joe Swash was king of the jungle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's beside herself. I know it was very indiscreet. You're not supposed to say what the Queen, and also especially a controversial thing like that. She could find herself being unpopular in Scotland. Can you imagine that?
I can't imagine that. Not for
Yeah.
a second.
That might put some of the Scottish nationalists off the Queen.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that'd be terrible.
She, well, he's got a summit now. Now he's got the waiting. She gets back from Scotland, I believe, in October. He's got a month of hell before the meeting with
What
her.
about her? She's up in Scotland.
Yeah.
Getting things
now-
thrown at her and stuff.
Yeah.
Won't
I
be-
suppose it's not a shock, is it, that the Queen wanted the Union to remain?
Yeah.
No.
No, but you can't have her purring down the phone.
No, not purring.
Down the line.
Purring. Oh. Yeah.
He
There
also
should be-
said he wanted to sue the polling companies for his stomach ulcers.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think he should sue some of those gentlemen's clubs instead.
Yes.
Anyway, we'll continue this. But I still haven't thought of an ending for the show. I never think until we get to the ending
Yeah.
every week what to do. Lovely. I suppose I was reading Ecclesiastes this week, but maybe we should end by saying vanity, vanity, all is vanity.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.